Breaking news now on Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Well, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Annette Montgomery. We now have breaking new details tonight in the deadly crashes on I-95. State police have now released the names of the 2 people killed earlier today. And this all comes after multiple crashes on I-95 in Westbrook. Officials tell us that first crash involved a tractor trailer on the northbound side between exit 64 and 65. We know it was traveling with tons of plywood when it crashed. You can see there some of that aftermath. Now we know about an hour and 40 minutes later, we are told another crash happened down the road, this time on the southbound side between exit 65 and 66. Those crashes shut down parts of I-95 in both directions all day. We are told after that semi crashed, it caused a chain reaction between 4 cars, all hitting one another. 39-year-old Nicholas Kupek was driving one of those cars and was taken to the hospital where he later died. The drivers of the other 3 vehicles were all taken to the hospital too. Less than 2 hours later, in the same area southbound, a driver ran into the back of another vehicle near exit 65. That driver, identified as 22-year-old Isabella Butsky, died at the scene. Right now, state police are still investigating the crashes, but stay with us tonight as we work to learn more. And continuing with crashes happening today, a tanker truck that was carrying 2,000 gallons of used cooking oil rolled over on I-91 South in Rocky Hill. State officials say the driver had to be hospitalized, but we don't know how bad their injuries are. We do know some lanes have been closed since that crash, which happened around 11:15 this morning. Right now, that cleanup is still going on, but we know it could have been much worse for traffic. We're told most of that oil spilled off the side of the highway. Right now, investigators are looking into what caused the rollover. And happening right now, the life of State Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier remembered this afternoon. The bridge near where he lost his life was dedicated in Pelletier's honor. That ceremony wrapped up a short while ago with Fox 61's Stephen Reels there and joining us now with the latest. Good evening, Stephen.
Good evening, Annette. And if you can imagine, this entire overpass you see behind me completely filled with hundreds of loved ones who just wanted to honor the life of Pelletier as it was renamed in his honor. And this area actually has a lot of memories to the Southington community. This was where Pelletier lost his life in May 2024. This section of the interstate shut down May 2025 as a family held a vigil to remember him. And today, in 2025, it will forever memorialize the Connecticut State Police officer. Now, this was all made possible actually thanks to members of the Southington community who contacted Representative Chris Poulos. Together, they worked with other state lawmakers, the Department of Transportation, to pass legislation so that this overpass could be renamed in Pelletier's honor.
He's got a legacy of service. He's got a legacy of bravery and courage and sacrifice. And I know for me, when I drive this road with my family and my son asks me, who's Aaron Pelletier, I'll be able to talk to him about those complex issues. And I hope that generations of Southington families are able to do the same.
And throughout this afternoon, one message was just very consistent throughout every single speaker. If you see a law enforcement officer or a first responder on the side of the road, please give them space to do their job and do their job safely. If you see them, move to the other side and slow down. You want to make sure no other life like Pelletier is lost. But for now, live in Southington, Stephen Reels, Fox 61.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Well, 200 gallons of phosphoric acid spilled out of Wallingford chemical plant earlier today. But we are told, luckily, nobody got hurt. The Department of Energy and Environmental Protection says a forklift punctured a large container that was holding the acid. It then spilled all over the floors, with one worker getting acid on their shoes, but quickly took them off. We know the building was evacuated, and officials say there's no longer any threat to the area. Well, if you take a step outside right now, it feels nice, but here's your warning. There may be some rain rolling in soon. So let's check in with meteorologist Sam Sampuri with the first check on the forecast. Sam?
Hi, Annette, and welcome to the Fox 61 family. And yes, we are dealing with some strong to severe storms potential for your Saturday. And then unfortunately, Sunday looks wet as well, especially during the morning hours. Things have changed, and we'll get to that later in the newscast about your Sunday forecast. But first things first, we had a beautiful day today. We had temperatures up into the upper 70s and lower 80s. We're down a little bit, but still very pleasant. And here's our system up here. Big upper level low, cold air up here. And there's a front here that's going to redevelop and move in our direction for tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening with those storms. Meanwhile, a nice evening for outdoor dining in the 70s and 80s. So let's put things in perspective. We're clear overnight. And then we wake up tomorrow morning with the sun. It's warm and humid, and here come those showers and thunderstorms by between 2 and 3 o'clock up there in northwestern and central Connecticut. Again, overnight we're down in the 60s and highs tomorrow in the low 80s before the storms move in. Coming up, I'll let you know the percentage of what we can expect as far as strong to severe storms. And yeah, will we have a return to fall-like weather? Details coming up in a few minutes. And that.
Thanks so much, Sam. Well, Bristol police tell us a woman who was hit by 2 cars last night is expected to recover. Police say she was crossing Farmington Avenue around 8:30 last night when the first car hit her. After that, she was hit by a second car headed in the opposite direction. Police say both drivers did stop after the crash. A Stamford man is facing serious charges after troopers say he led them on a dangerous chase along I-84. Police say Jeffrey Latour refused to stop, hitting speeds over 90 before troopers used stop sticks in Vernon. Latour eventually crashed into a barrier. When troopers arrested him, they say they found a loaded handgun with a high-capacity magazine inside his truck. He's now facing more than a dozen charges and is being held on a $500,000 bond. A Guatemalan national admits he entered the U.S. illegally and tried to meet a minor for sex. Prosecutors say 41-year-old Rafael Vincenti has a violent history here in Connecticut. He was convicted of negligent homicide 20 years ago and deported back to Guatemala. But he did come back last summer, with Groton police arresting him in a sting operation after he thought he was meeting a 15-year-old girl. Vincenti now faces up to 10 years in prison, with his sentencing scheduled for January. A former Norwalk official was sentenced to 50 years in prison today for murdering her tenant. So for 64-year-old Ellen Wink, that's essentially a life sentence. Wink shot and killed Kurt Lametta back in January of 2022. At the time, Wink was the city's deputy Republican registrar of voters. Officials found Lametta's body inside the home and said he had been shot several times. Tax records show Wink owned that house. She was also convicted of criminal lockout. Well, crews in Vernon battled a massive tree fire early Thursday morning. Take a look here. A 50-foot dead tree went up in flames around 3 in the morning near Harlow and Union Street. Hot embers sparked a small brush fire, putting the nearby homes at risk, and it took more than 5,000 gallons of water and 3 hours to put that fire out. But thankfully, no one was hurt. Well, Connecticut has its first human case of West Nile virus this year. Health officials say the patient is a man in his 40s from Fairfield County. He got sick last month, was hospitalized, but has since recovered. The virus has been found in mosquitoes in 34 towns so far this season. Experts warn the risk will stay high until mosquito activity drops in October. So they urge people to use repellent, cover up, and avoid being outside at dawn and dusk. Well, we don't have to tell you, it's been tough for families across Connecticut to make ends meet, and now new data shows it's only getting worse. This morning at the state capitol, the United Way of Connecticut released their latest ALICE update and policy agenda. And that report reveals the highest level of financial hardship ever recorded in the state. Advocates say after relative stability before the pandemic, the cost of living is now outpacing wages. And hear this, it's not just cities bearing the impact. They say suburban and rural communities are also feeling the pressure as federal COVID relief has faded away.
Today's ALICE report and the federal actions, they only make clear the urgency of this moment. So I know I won't let up. I know all of us standing here, all of us gathered in this room today will not let up in working together in special session and beyond to pursue more affordable housing, more affordable childcare, more affordable healthcare, address the impacts of the federal cuts, and pass meaningful tax relief with a permanent child tax credit.
And United Way leaders say the goal is to raise awareness and push for policies that give Connecticut families a fair shot at financial stability. Well, tangible evidence that families are getting squeezed. That's what Connecticut Congressman John Larson says the latest jobs report is proof of. Employers added just 22,000 jobs in August, with unemployment rising to 4.3%. Manufacturing and other key sectors lost ground, marking the first monthly job loss since 2020. Larson blames the president's tariffs for driving up prices and cutting clean energy jobs, including nearly 300 in just Connecticut. He says Democrats have real plans to lower costs, while Republicans are blocking solutions and raising utility bills. Bridgeport's mayor is blasting the state sitting council after it reversed course and approved new power monopoles in Bridgeport and Fairfield. Mayor John Ganim calls it a betrayal of people and wants the state attorney general to investigate what he calls a lack of transparency. State Senator Haran Gasson is also speaking out, saying the council ignored community concerns about health, safety, and the environment. Both leaders say this fight is far from over and they will push back against the project.